During this committee, joint committee meeting, many of us expressed both support and opposition to decrease any further the fuel energy tax in this year's budget, considering all the extraordinary unknowns and the inflexibility that exists within the budget, and recognize that, for example, we were not able to fully fund the school system's request, nor can we fully, for example, fund the Montgomery College's request, and those are just two particular items that stand out, but obviously recognizing that other than that, our fiscal policy calls for remembering that we need to stay the course when it comes to issues like reserves, et cetera.
First off, I think we have to keep in mind that this is an accounting problem. We have on a list of various tranches, and though I certainly am supportive of the 10%, I'm certainly someone who becomes realistic. And on the list itself is a 5% and the 1% of the various tranches. And I understand about the wind case. I understand that we're concerned, and I understand that some consideration has been given if we are unfortunate enough to lose the wind case, that there's going to be a way to work it through the state so that we don't have the entire burden in the same 15 minutes. I think it has to be noted that the $5 million that we talk about for the school system, I'm certainly very supportive of MCPS. I always have been. I'm a product of MCPS. But they're not on the list now. So to say that this money has something to do with them, I understand we could have added more, but to say this money that we're talking about has something to do with them, I think is not as fair as it should be. You were talking about for non-residential consumers for the energy, that it's about $300 a month. Well, I can tell you, then that's on an average, I understand, but I can tell you $300 a month to a small business is a huge number. And to pretend that we're doing something that's not affecting small businesses and large businesses is not fair. We are doing that. Economic development is the one way that we can help the next year's concern for what's going to happen because of the tighter budgets. Economic development is the one way that we could help that situation. And to not do something for an economic development means, which lowering the energy tax would, it certainly takes away one of the barriers that someone is going to say that they're not going to be coming to Montgomery County. And Craig, I agree with you, the giant food and the oranges. And I don't want to compare apples and oranges here. I don't want to do that. Oranges. Yeah. But I also have to tell you, there was a reason that supplier called Giant and said, let me lower my price, because Giant didn't buy as many. And that's what we have to be looking at. This is an opportunity. I think we need to look at the entire accounting process, which by tomorrow we would be knowing how much money we could truly give towards the energy tax. And at that point, we'd be making a much clearer decision on an important matter. Thank you.
It is in order for a substitute amendment to be offered. That motion is now before the council. Those in favor of the substitute, which would be placing a 5% reduction in the increase, the 2011 increase in the energy tax, will signify by raising their hands. Those in favor will signify by raising their hands. And that is Mr. Berliner, Mr. Katz, Ms. Florine, and the council president. Those opposed? Mr. Elrich, Mr. Hucker, Mr. Rice, Mr. Reamer, and Ms. Navarro. Okay, so that substitute is defeated. Is there another motion to come before the council?
I think there's...
The substitute is defeated, so that would take us to the underlying motion. That's right, thank you. So, so the motion before the council now is Mr. Reamer's motion to concur with the county executive's recommendation on the rate of the energy tax. Those in favor of Mr. Reamer's motion will signify by raising their hands. And that is Mr. Elrich, Mr. Hucker, Mr. Rice, Mr. Reamer, and Ms. Navarro. Those opposed are Mr. Katz, Ms. Florine, Mr. Berliner, and the council president. All right then, so the position of the council is that the energy tax will remain at the rate it was in FY15 for FY16. I thank my colleagues for working through this matter.